So, hello everyone. My name is Shola Bulu. I'm the principal consultant of Shola Bulu and Associates, and so I'm going to be doing. I have been doing a series of videos, just talking about introducing the concept of issues, crisis communications, and reputation management. And the reason why we're doing it is because, first of all, we have a course coming up on the 24th of April, 2025, but also because I just wanted to share a bit more, learning material in terms of what we talk about and why we have titled this course this way. Now, we the short way to describe this theme of issues, crisis, and reputation management is this is for communications for when things go wrong. What we teach on this course and what this entire practice area is about is how to handle communications when things go wrong. And I think many of us, we train for we're very good at campaigns, when we're telling good stories and all of that, but not many of us develop our skills on how to manage communication when things go wrong. And pretty frequently they will now. And even when they don't go wrong, now with the social media, internet, and all of that, we have so many things working to make sure that things that you just have to respond to. So let's just start from the basis. In this video, I'm going to be talking just about what issues management is. If you hear people talk about issues management in the context of communications, what are they referring to? So we're talking about reputation issues, and I'm going to show a trajectory because I think sometimes I found out that the maybe there may be some, just to clarify some of these terms that I use and that you will see us use on this page. I will try to simplify them a little bit more. But when we talk about issues, we're not just talking about business issues. We're talking about business issues that have gotten to the point that they are becoming a reputation issue. And you know what I'm talking about. I mean, I remember I have this saying that I say to people when I'm like, oh, I have fixed an appointment with you, and if I reschedule too many times, it's becoming a reputation issue. It's no longer about, oh, there's a problem with her calendar. It's about, this is how she is. She doesn't keep up to appointments. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when a business issue becomes so much of a pattern, and of course, issue is a negative thing, that it's becoming associated with your brand, then it will become a reputation issue. And it can also be it becomes a reputation issue when it is reported in the media, or it causes regulatory sanction or protest in the community. So in short, once the issue passes your internal processes or your normal operations processes, it has gone beyond your customer. It's now becoming something that is causing agitation. Negative, of course, agitation is always negative. And then it gets to the point, it's now being reported, complaints are coming, there's an aggregation of complaints. So it's not just one customer complaining, many customers are complaining. It's not just one supplier, many suppliers are complaining. It's not just your employees complaining internally, but people are beginning to hear that, your employees, their complaints internally. By the time we outside start hearing about problems within your organization, which normally shouldn't be, you have an issue, and that issue is a reputation issue. And at that point, communications professionals need to begin to weigh in. And I'm speaking particularly to people working in big organizations. You have to know when it is your opportunity to weigh in. I see too many communications professionals waiting to be called. If you are bearing the title communications manager or you're the communications lead, you don't wait to be called. Immediately you find out that something has become a media issue, a protest issue, people are calling you from outside the company and say, we hear that you people are having problem in your company. You get involved because you are the one that manages the relationships with the external world. So is that mindset that we really want to teach here, how to help the company, to support the company when things go wrong. And the communications professionals are in the best position to do this. And again, like I said, we have 5 courses that we run. One thing I've noticed, whenever we publicize strategic communications, everybody rushes. When we publicize brand strategy and marketing, everybody rushes because everybody wants to be trained based on what they do now. But nobody wants to be trained based on what they are likely to be required to know in future. Because you can't be a communications professional for 10 years and there's an issue and you don't know what to do. Nobody is going to know. People outside of our professions, the business leaders, don't know that our practice is segmented into these areas. People who work on campaigns never manage issues. That's the funny thing. So they don't even know what to do. Some people, all they know about the media is to pay for adverts and sponsorships. They have never in their life had to write a media statement debunking misinformation or clarifying or getting into a back and forth. They just don't know how to handle it or how to shut down very, very negative coverage with a factual 5-line statement. These are things that you will learn because there are concepts, there are principles, there are frameworks that you can use to know how you need to address an issue. So I just put a screenshot of some kind of issues here. These examples are from Nigeria, but in subsequent videos, I will use from different parts of Africa and the world as well. So you can see here, this particular screenshot actually links to where I'll be going in my next video about the link between issues, crisis, and reputation. So this was a statement that was issued by the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, actually almost pleading with Nigerians that look, the social media attacks is undermining their reputation. And this is what we talk about. This is why we put this together, because issues, if not well managed, will lead to crisis, which will affect your reputation, which will affect your bottom line, your ability to do business. So this again was another issue that a particular bank had in Nigeria at the end of 2024. They had a tech upgrade which really went, in fact, just went really crazy. And this particular bank has been having, let's just say that there's just an issue going on there. And realistically, they should be managing some of these things proactively. There should be some effort to manage this as a reputation issue. But I do find that the understanding of that, may not necessarily be there in some spaces, or maybe they have a different way of doing things. But the fact that even the Chartered Institute of Bankers made this statement to all Nigerians shows that they are beginning to feel the ripple effect. Whether they know what to do, how to manage this proactively going forward, I do not know. But definitely, I would say for some of these brands, particularly, that there is an issue. There's an issue. They have a reputation issue that needs to be managed in an integrated way, which is what we teach in these courses. Otherwise, anyways, so that I gave that because that's a good example. So what is issues management, therefore? And this is a global practice. This is something that I think people from certain parts of the world will understand better than our context, because for us, many of us communications people, we may not know, except you're working for an international organization or institution, you may not really understand that issues management is part of the communications practice. So I'm here to introduce this to you, that it is. And if you intend to take a corporate communications role in a major organization or a global institution or international institution, you need to understand that this is your role. And like I said, it's not just normal issues that are managed operationally, but once it crosses the fence line and people outside of the organization are getting involved or have gotten involved or is talking, social media is conversation, media reports, community protests, NGO, civil society, letters, petitions, employee union unrest, protests outside your gates, you get involved, because then it is becoming, in fact, it has become a reputation issue. It's no longer an internal operational issue. So you should be the one actually leaning, asking what's going on, developing a holding statement. These are things we will teach you on the course. Because if those things don't get nipped in the bud, or you don't red flag it, eventually it will become a crisis. That's what we're trying to show on this course. This course shows you, we're teaching you how, as a communications professional, what to do when things go wrong, and how to know when things are likely to begin to go wrong. If you, as a communications professional, don't know when things are likely to go wrong, you will never have peace on your seat, because you're not even listening, you're not observing, you're not paying attention to what's going on. You're thinking, oh, the operational people are handling it, whereas you should have weighed in. They will mismanage it, because at that point it is getting outside of their competence and outside of their area. It is becoming, there's some reputation aspects coming in, stakeholder engagement, stakeholder consultation. There's an integration of stakeholder management that is required. Business people cannot handle that, because that's not their role. But if you, as a communications person, don't understand this, I continue to see communications professionals who think that all they're supposed to do is to create content just to say, oh, this is who we are, this is our vision, this is our mission, we did this campaign, we did that. That's not only your job. And we have media people who are trained in this area, but then do not understand any other thing about other stakeholders. What corporate communications is supposed to do is have a holistic view of everything. So you will be watching both media, government, community, NGO, civil society, all of them, even customer relations. You will have all of that because you are in charge of communications for the corporate entity. So you should not be only focused on the media. If only all you are doing is just media or government or this, you are not doing corporate communications. You are not. So a process, you should have in place a process for managing issues, or at least identifying them, listing them that could become a major problem or is already showing up for the business internally. That process, and I know this decision should be made by your business leaders, but as communications, there's a role. If it's becoming a reputation issue, if any of these things has happened in your organization and it has hit the headlines, there have been sanctions from the government or whatever, the communications professional needs to be involved. Why? You need to have a holding statement. There must be a message that will be consistent. Not that when they ask finance, finance is saying something, they ask corporate, corporate is saying something else. There should be a corporate message on that issue. And corporate communications is the one that has to hold the pen on that. These are the things we teach you in the issues management course. And for those of us, those of you watching who may want to work at in a global organization, I can tell you for free, if you don't know these things, you will find it very difficult to even pass through the interview stage, not to talk of to get employed, because these are standard global practices in certain parts of the world. So I just gave a list of the different kinds of issues that could become a major problem externally, so that you know that these are the areas. And I'm saying this also because some communications professionals, when you're working, you just think, oh, this is not my business. Let them. There's nothing that is not your business. Which is why when you're working in an organization, you need to know everything that they're doing. If there are integrity issues, transparency issues, you may have to write a press statement on it. And if you don't even understand what led to the integrity issues, what the elements of the integrity issues, how can you advise the organization on how best to respond, where the minefields are, and what they need to say in a nuanced, or how do you advise the organization? So you must understand that the business of the organization is your business, so that yes, the business will manage it, but that there is a point at which certain things happen, you must get involved. Even if it's just for monitoring the headlines, even if it's just for social media listening, even if it's just for writing a statement that you will keep. These are all the things we teach in our issues management course. So why manage issues? Like I said, if they are not managed, it will become a crisis. It will just stoke negative coverage. It will impact on your reputation, your credibility, your sales. I mean, I want to give a very simple example. A wedding planner who gets negative coverage for an event that she handled, all the future pending orders will be cancelled. It may take the person a whole year, maybe 2 years, maybe never even recover. So once you see that an issue is coming up, you don't wait for the issue to escalate to the point that everybody's reporting, you become a meme on social media. You manage it. But then if you don't even recognize it, which we see happening a lot, the issue is almost like when a rotten tree is growing and you don't cut it. The tree is dying and you continue to allow it. You allow the rotten fruit to grow and then fall down and then mess up the entire place before you realize that you have an issue. Whereas there was signs that this was really going bad and you could have mitigated it ethically and sustainably along the line. So training, we are using this training to call professionals' attention to the kind of skills that they would require when things go wrong. This is not a training about happy-go-lucky times. It is a training for the days of adversity, which comes for businesses, for brands, for institutions, for entities, even for faith-based organizations, churches, charities. So if you're a communications professional and you want to go far in this area as a leader, these are things that you need to know, competencies that you need to have, training that you must go through. High-performing companies and institutions have this process in place to ensure that reputation issues do not become a crisis. This is how it happens. This is the trajectory. Business issue, reputation issue, not managed, and it escalates. Manage well, it de-escalates. It doesn't have to go this way. It will just come down, come down, come down here. So join us online on April 24th, 2025. We're going to be talking a lot about this, teaching these principles and all of that, how to manage media and communications response in times of issues or in times of crisis. Enrollment is ongoing. Join us online on the 24th of April. DM for details. 10% discount ongoing until April 14, 2025. Enrollment stops on the 22nd of April. So if you want to join us, please join us before then. And if you also want to get a few more details and have a conversation with us, just email us on trading@solabuoluassociates.com. We would love to have you in class. We are committed to ensuring that we help professionals achieve their career goals. So please take this opportunity. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you.